So this kind of opportunity just was there, and I said to myself, you know, maybe I'm going to take a swing at this. And then I got involved with a UCLA study on using cannabinoids instead of like, you know, painkillers.
Right.
The study was based on, because I had been privately funded, it couldn't be federally funded, so there was a lot of companies who were, you know, presenting donations in order to try to help that. So I kind of got involved in that, and that then made me think like maybe I can do this in a position where I feel like I can get something out to market that, you know, people can get the best out of, and that's kind of what started it. But then you kind of get into the whole business thing, and you know, I have an economics degree, oddly enough.
Oh, interesting.
So that side of the business stuff was relatively easy for me, but it kind of like you have to think of that first, even if you're doing it for a good purpose, because honestly, you know, you could do something for the best purpose possible, yet have really bad business chops and fail, because you still got to be able to, you know, cover your costs.
Right.
And pay for it all and market it, and you know, especially in this business with the amount of taxes and fees and permits and stuff that you have to do. If you're not on top of that, it'll nip you, and you're going to be done before you even started.
Now, when you launched, was it already recreational in California?
It was just going, I believe,
okay,
right beforehand. So nobody was really issuing at that time. So we searched for almost a year to try to find a location, because that turned to be like, it seemed to be almost the key to, you know, entry.
Definitely.
Because, you know, most of the spaces that were available in the small, you know, little tiny eeny-weeny pockets of places that were legal, the buildings just were in horrible condition, and the amount of money it would cost to get them up to, you know, running and inspectable was massive. So I searched for a long time, and almost felt like I almost gave up.
Yeah.
Until this space came along.
This is a great space.
And then I just, you know, got lucky and you know, got along with the owner and had a good business model and really had, you know, prepped and done my homework and where we were going. So you know, the landlord believed in it, and we got the building. So.
Now, in addition to the degree in economics, do you feel like your time working with Donald Trump and producing The Apprentice taught you more or new things about business that you've been able to use?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I learned a lot from him. He's very shrewd. I mean, I've learned some things not to do and some things to do.
Sure.
Because he's the iron fist kind of like business guy. You know, he throws his fist. You know, I mean, how many times I've heard him do that is crazy. But I did learn like leverage and understanding, you know, information is power. The more, if whoever you're, you know, negotiating with, if you know what you're talking about, it's a much better, you have a much better chance of succeeding. Like, for example, one of the first seasons, we were trying to negotiate a hotel deal for all of our crew. In New York City, the hotels are like astronomical, so trying to find a hotel that we could afford for, you know, 400 people, that's a huge budget line. So we try to get that down so we could put more money on the screen, was a challenge. And we were negotiating with this hotel, and he said to me, where's all the crew going to stay? And I said, we're talking to this hotel, right, you know, not far from here. I'll leave the hotel name aside, but I said, here's what we're trying to get into. And he said, right now, hotel rooms are way down in the city. So what I suggest you do is insult them on how much you're willing to give them. Just insult them. And I said, really? And he's like, absolutely. See what happens. And I'm like, okay. So I went back to them, and I don't remember, they were asking like at the time $179 a night or something, you know, and their book rate was, you know, 300 to 400. So they, you know, came down because we had a lot of room nights, you know, with 400 crew members for 30 days. That's a lot of nights that they want to get off their plate, the hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. So I went in and said, all right, we'll give you like $95 or something. Just going with that exact philosophy, and they were insulted, and they said, no way, we can't do it, it's just never going to happen, blah blah blah, and they walked. And I'm like, oh god, that didn't work, you know, this is a mess, you know, now what are we going to do? So we're searching for other hotel rooms, and it wasn't like, it didn't take them out of 2 days, a day and a half to call us back and say, all right, how about if we do like $125 and you guarantee us and pay us half up front? And I'm like, holy shit, it worked. Like, because we were getting ready to do the 179. You know? Yeah. So it's just silly things like that. So, you know, I did learn quite a bit from him, business-wise.
Yeah.
You know, and he treats his staff. I mean, there's some staff members that work for him for 30 years, and you can't keep people for 30 years unless you treat them well.
Right.
It's not going to happen. So, yeah, there's a lot of, he does have a lot of positive business traits that, you know, worked well for him at the Trump organization, you know, and you know, despite some failures, it still did pretty well. I mean, you know, it's relatively successful.